So for those of you who don't know already, I'm a big advocate against pornography. But before you do all your little typey comments down there telling me how crazy I am for being against it, I want to explain what I learned today. So I was at the library, and you know how libraries have tons and tons of computers that everybody uses. And they're out in the open so people can see what you're doing, usually what website you're on. However, I happened to see a computer that was on, and I wasn't looking for this, I just happened to notice it when I was walking by, that on the screen, someone was looking at pornography. Now when I first saw this, I was kind of like taken back. I was like, is that even allowed? To which my surprise is, yes. Now me being the person I am, I went to the librarian and I said, you do realize that this person is looking at pornography on the computer. Well, we can't do anything about it because it's their right to look at pornography. Alright, I give you that much, that it's someone's right in the privacy of their own home if they want to look at pornography. However, in a public place, specifically a library, let me explain to you something here. It is a public library, which libraries typically involve lots of young children. In fact, in the 90s, I used to go to the library all the time and get little kid books with my mom. For them to allow people, specifically bums off the street, to walk in, use a computer with a library card, enter their password, log on, and look at pornography on a public screen which people are walking by, I believe is unacceptable. I mean, in libraries you have programs which are specifically designed about the education of kids between 4, 5, 6, 7 years old, and the last thing they need to see is a pornographic image on the library screen of some hobo who's masturbating to it. And to expand this even further, you have old grandmas and you have old grandpas who are actually being taught how to use computers, and the last thing I think a 90-year-old grandma needs to see, or grandpa, needs to look over and see a young man jacking off to pornography. Publicly! I stress the word publicly. Everybody can see what they're doing. So I did some more research on the issue, and supposedly the reason why they cannot ban looking at pornography in libraries is that it violates the First Amendment, and it is that individual's constitutional right to look at pornography. But at the same time, I sit back and I look at it and I ask myself, really? I mean, it's one thing if you look at pornography in the privacy of your own home, but publicly with small children. I'm sorry, but I just can't wrap my mind about how that is acceptable. However, I did find out that the library has a filter system for child pornography. So they can't look at child pornography on these public library computers, but they can look at pornography just fine. I just find it absolutely disgusting and unacceptable for a guy. He has no shame. It's disgusting that he can walk into a public library, pull up pornography when there are small kids walking around. How do you do that? The other thing I don't understand is, if I was to walk in a library and rip my pants off and wiggle my penis around publicly, I'd get arrested. But no, a random stranger hobo can pull up pornography on a screen and flash it for everybody publicly to see in a library. I'm sorry, but that's just completely wrong for so many reasons. I've already mentioned them. I just can't believe people would actually do that publicly in a library, much less that it's actually legal. That's what surprised me. I didn't even know it was legal. Child pornography is illegal, but no, pornography publicly is perfectly fine. So, I would like to know your guys' thoughts on this. Do you disagree or do you agree with me? And if you disagree with me, tell me exactly why. And video responses are much appreciated. I'm Daniel Solzbach, also known as Mr. Repzion. Peace to rep out, and our world is getting more and more disgusting every time I walk in public.